We have here a problem, an age problem. Arit is 4 years older than Dennis. 2 years ago, Arit was 5 times as old as Dennis. How old is Arit today? These problems can be tricky. And what I recommend is first, make a little table to understand what's happening. Make a table about right now, about today, since that's kind of implied right here. Arit today is 4 years older than Dennis. Write that in there. If it doesn't specify what the time frame is, you should assume that's right now. So there's today, and then there's 2 years ago. And we're going to create an expression that describes Arit's age, and we're going to make an expression that describes Dennis's age for both today and 2 years ago. So it says, today, Arit is 4 years older than Dennis. Well, that means if Dennis was 10, Arit is 14. If Dennis was 15, then Arit is 4 years older than that, so he's 19. So if Dennis's age today is x, that means Arit's age today is x plus 4. So we have that. We're going to go in order. This is very important. So we get today's information here. I start with that first piece of information. Today, Arit is 4 years older than Dennis. 2 years ago, meaning if Dennis is 10 now, then he'd be 8 2 years ago. If Dennis is 12 now, he'd be 10 2 years ago. So how do I get how old they were 2 years ago? Notice I haven't paid attention to this part yet. I just know 2 years ago. I'm describing their ages 2 years ago. Well, if Dennis is x years old now, then he would be x minus 2 years old 2 years ago. And if Arit is x plus 4 years old right now, well, he'd be x plus 4 minus 2. So x plus 2 years old 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we just subtract 2 from both parts of the age, from both ages. But we also know that Arit was 5 times as old as Dennis. So we have an extra piece of information. We know that 2 years ago, Arit, who is this age, we have this expression for this age, is also 5 times as old as Dennis. So I can write his age this way, because it's 2 years ago from his birthday today. So I can kind of think within this row, his age today, his age 2 years ago, an expression for his age 2 years ago. Or I have his age 2 years ago, and then Dennis's age 2 years ago, which I know that Arit is 5 times as old as Dennis. So I also know that that is 5 times x minus 2. Because I know that Arit was 5 times as old as Dennis in this time frame. Dennis is x minus 2, so Arit is 5 times x minus 2. These can be tricky to set up. Try to work this out. Make sure you understand how this goes, how this works. If you don't understand, talk to your teacher, send him or her an email, send me an email, go to homework help. This is an important setup. You get to this part, you get an equation. Honestly, once you get the equation, the whole thing becomes very easy, because now all we have is the equation. X plus 4 minus 2 equals 5 times x minus 2. So over here, I just get x plus 2. On the right, I distribute 5x minus 10. And now I just solve. Minus x, I get 2 is equal to 4x plus 10. No, sorry, that's minus 10. Plus 10 is what I do. Plus 10, and I get, moving it down again, 12 is equal to 4x, divided by 4, and we get that 3 is equal to x. Now don't stop. That's the problem with word problems, is that there's usually, once you get to what x is, that's usually not your answer. This will help you find your answer, but ultimately this is not what I wanted. Because what is x? Go back up to the table. X is Dennis's age today. So I now know that Dennis, right now, is 3. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to know how old is Arit today. Well, I know that Arit is 4 years older. So if Dennis is 3, then Arit is 7, and that is my answer. Arit is 7 years old. And that's the end of the period.